Okay. Um, Thank you for the invitation, both Diego's and Nacho. I feel very proud to be here and be probably the only entrepreneur among so many VCs. So I have the tough job of showing what VC enables. So I'll try to do my best, but feel free to interrupt or make comments or questions. So I represent Stellogic. This is what we do. We do satellites to capture images of the world at a 1 meter resolution. I'm going to show you why we think this is important and why we've been working on this for the past 9 years. Very simple. We are being backed right now by Tencent Exploration Team, which is a fund that invests in long-term projects that have impact in the, I would say, magnitude of billions of people. Pitanga Investimentos from Brazil, Valor Capital Group as well, and Crunch Fund that you probably have seen before in the US. What we are building right now, it's what we call a platform made of satellites. And why we think of this as a platform is because we think that this is a means to an end, that is to capture data of what's going on the Earth every single day. Most of you are familiar with satellites and what they do. What you probably don't know is that they're really expensive. They are the size of a car, and they are worth hundreds of millions. What we've been trying to do for the past 9 years is to lower the size of that and lower the cost orders of magnitude so that we could enable a constellation that gives us a lot more data than we can currently capture. Our edge is this unique data set. So at the end of the day, what we want to build is a database of every single thing that's happening on Earth that has multiple uses. And we're going to do that with AI, artificial intelligence, because no human can actually do what we're doing today with so many images. So just to give you an idea of what this means is there are lands or areas of interest of thousands of hectares, and we want to take pictures every day. And what we do is we create algorithms to detect changes, to understand the harvest or the soil or many uses. So AI is key so that we can get something valuable out of these images. What we're doing right now is collaborating with different verticals to understand their needs, because this is new technology, is creating a new market. Like I said before, the satellites are hundreds of millions, so it's really difficult to do another thing than intelligence or military. What we're doing is enabling a new market where companies, local governments, and I would say undeveloped countries can start using this data. This is what we created. This is a render, but these are the type of images that we can take. This is 1 meter resolution on the left and 30 meter resolution on the right. These are different types of images for two reasons. One is the one on the left is what you normally see on an application in your phone to see where you're going. And the other one is more about detecting molecules or chemical components and things. So it's very useful for agriculture, something that it's, as you probably heard today, very big in Argentina. So that's why we use these two main payloads. The first one is mostly used for economic activity, and the second one is more for land use. Okay? This is the current landscape today. So we have some companies in the US doing daily remap with smaller satellites at a different resolution between 5 and 15 meters. There are some satellites from governments that are free to use or to download the data. But the quality is not very useful for what we call human activity, which is usually around 1 meter resolution. On the right is what I talked before about military intelligence. You have these $800 million satellites that can give you 0.25 meter resolution. But as you can probably think, it's very, very expensive. So we're targeting this sweet spot of 1 meter resolution. We're trying to do it as affordable as possible. To give you an order of magnitude, we are 10 times cheaper than our closest competitor right now. So that's a lot in terms of what we can do. And what we're aiming to do is have more frequency at this quality. And I will show you a little bit why this is important, or why we think it's important. Especially because of this. You can count cars, you can count planes, you can count boats, you can detect roads, you can monitor port activity, asset monitoring, you name it. There's a lot of things that we can do. We are not trying to cover everything at the same time, but the things that we're seeing are amazing. I mean, we get requests every single day, and we have a hard time choosing what to do. But I'm going to show you 3 cases. We're right now focusing on agriculture, oil and gas, and government. And these are some simple uses. The way we offer this is important. And before I show the cases, it's solutions is mainly artificial intelligence based on satellite imagery. The second one is what we can enable because of the cost of the satellites. It's sort of like a satellite as a service. You probably heard of governments putting one satellite, $500 million, 20 years, like that. So what we are doing is doing an offering to a country to have a geospatial analytics platform at a hundredth of what it would cost them to do this program. And we can launch it pretty quickly. And the third thing that we do is the current existing market, which is imagery, right? So we're starting there, but this is how we're working. So let me jump quickly to a few cases. This is a real thing, a company in Argentina that wanted to monitor pipeline, and the way they're doing it today is with an airplane. They send a guy and just take pictures of what he sees or where he thinks there's something wrong. He tells the people when he lands, look, I think there's something wrong there. So what we're doing is actually monitoring this pipeline, detecting changes nearby, and telling them, look, I think someone is stealing your oil, things like that, which is quite big market today. Or constructions like you can see here. So all of this is done with artificial intelligence. The second one that I want to show is agricultural. This is rice fields. It's really hard for this company to monitor their fields, and what they're using today is a mixture of sending a guy with a truck and what do you call it? Drones. So it's really hard if they have, I would say, land in different countries, which this country has. So we're looking for a solution that it's automated and can give them early notifications of what they need to change. Right? This is actually from the project. You can see how we adjust the yield prediction with more images because we train our algorithms to get better. Right? We use also the land truth and the information they provide from the field. And the third one is from a government in the US. They wanted to track the presence of cars and boats in an area to understand this park, how much people they were receiving every day. The way they do it today is they count the amount of cars that enter the national park, and it's not very sustainable when the guy's not there or is going to the bathroom, something like that. But you can also see here that we could detect the amount of water in these in this region. So we started another project with a hedge fund that wanted to detect the amount of water, and these are different dams because of this algorithm that we created for this project. So it's quite interesting, all the uses we see. These are just 3 what we're doing today. We've been 9 years trying to crack the big problem, which is lower the cost of the satellite, and we've done that. So now the roadmap is to create the constellation and start enabling more and more solutions for problems we have today. This is where we are today. We've launched 5 satellites, and we plan to deploy 90 in the next 2 years, which is a hard thing to do, create satellite. But that would give us weekly remap of all the Earth, and would give us daily revisits of any point on the planet, which is something that only 1 or 2 companies can do in the world. So it's pretty huge. And I don't know how many years, maybe 5, maybe 10, we don't know yet. We plan to have 300 satellites that would give us daily remap of the planet. So that's one picture of what's happening on the Earth every single day. This is unheard of. Nobody has really done it at this scale. So that's what we're planning to do. A little bit of how we've done this is with a global team. So thanks to venture capital, we've been able to meet talent all over the world. Our data science team is in Barcelona. We have a product delivery platform and image processing experts in Tel Aviv. We have business development in Beijing because we have Tencent also as a backer. That was a lot. And we design and operate the satellites from here, from Argentina. I think Lisandro said that we have good expertise in satellite. That is true. We have people that have worked for our government before and now joined Stellogic. So very briefly, that's what we do and the constellation we're trying to put together. This is only possible because of venture capital and because there's people that think it's possible, like Nacho said, with the attitude to do it. It's really hard from Argentina, but we're doing our best to do it. Thank you.